Hello, everybody. It's time for the Bold Badass Business Show, where we have the smiley face guest and also master coach Regina Carey in the house. Regina is a strengths-based coach. She is phenomenal at working with individuals who have invisible disabilities. That could be anxiety, depression, it could be autism, some level of autism. It could be chronic fatigue. It could be all sorts of things. And she helps you get shit done so you can build your relationships and make more profit. So, welcome, Regina.
Thank you. So excited to be here.
I'm really happy you're here as well. And I know that what we have to talk about today, how to get shit done in your life and your business. This is one of the biggest issues facing people today. It really is. Wouldn't you agree?
I do agree. And I think that for good reason. We have a lot of information coming at us, a lot of influencers and
Yep.
experts telling us how to get things done, and it overflows our working memory plate. It's too much.
Yeah. Like, think about it. You got this cup here and you keep putting crap in it and you keep putting crap. Eventually, the cup is just going to overflow and
Right.
there's no more room for anything. And that's how our minds are these days. I mean, we're getting over 4,000
Mm.
marketing messages a day. This is
Yeah,
crazy.
right. And they're becoming more targeted too. So
Yes.
it feels like somebody in there knows us, but we have to. This is why I help people. This is how I help people slow down so that they take a look and figure out what is important to me and really do the internal work so that we stop thinking everything else is important.
I love that because really at the root of it all, if you don't know what is it I want, what do I want?
Mm.
Really, how do I want my life to look?
Right.
How do I want my day to look? How do I want my clients to be? How do I want my work, my business to look? If we don't understand that, if we don't have that, I don't care how many experts you listen to who tell you do it this way, do it that way, do it the other way. It's a bunch of hogwash, right? It's
Right.
got to come from us.
Right. Absolutely. And in fact, this actually probably better to say the in fact, I just had this conversation with my son today who started school. And instead of saying, what are you looking forward to doing today? I said, who are you going to be when you walk
Hmm.
into school today? And he actually said, that was a good question. He thought about it. We have to understand that every day we have a choice to show up in a specific way, in a way that's true to our values, what we believe and what we think is important. And if we show up in that way, then we're going to attract that same kind of experience, opportunity, person to us that is really
Mm.
going to help us on our journey.
Yeah, I love that. It does all start with being, our
Mm.
state of being. And we all know that when we're in a crappy state of being, right, or things just haven't gone our way and we're upset, and maybe there have been a few things that have, since we're talking about shit today, that have hit the fan. And we may find that our mood goes down and maybe we get in a business slump. And you know what?
Right.
I guarantee you, everybody watching, if you're in a business slump, it's because something isn't right in your way of being.
Yeah.
Something's not right in your way of being. Every time my business has slowed down, well, first of all, it was like spirit saying, slow down a little bit.
Mhm.
But it was also an opportunity to look because there was something there that somehow I hadn't processed or
Mm.
hadn't even identified. Maybe I didn't even know it was there.
Right. Right. That's true. And when we start to look and blame other things on why it's not going right, we play the blame game so easily because there's a lot of reasons why, a lot of reasons. And it's rare that we take a look in the mirror and say, who am I right now? How am I being? What are my thoughts? What am I telling myself every single day? And even the simple act, I just asked somebody this yesterday. Do you wake up and speak gratitude first thing before your feet hit the ground? And she said, "No, I never thought about that. Usually I
Yeah.
start thinking about all the things I have to do." And I said, "Switch that. Give it a try and see how things change." With that simple, just that simple one thing.
Mm. Speaking gratitude. So there's your first strategy, everybody, is just speaking gratitude first thing in the morning. And, I like to do it at night. You've heard me say that, Regina. I like to do it when I take a shower because I know every night I'm going to take a shower. And depending on working out or whatever, I may take two a day. And I always use my time in the shower to just visualize all the stuff from the day coming off of me, but also to say my gratitude. And it's not just, thank you for the sunshine. It's like, I got this done. Yay, me. And thank you, God. It is very much a cooperative gratitude list because I
Right.
have to show up, right?
And what you're doing is you're habit stacking. And
Yes.
that is a great thing for people to begin to think about. I mean, you and I even talked about that today, batching. Think about batching. Find something that you already do and stack one great new behavior on top of it. And so showering, you're going to do, go ahead and speak your gratitude while you're doing it. In the morning, I work out, I walk. While I walk, I pray. I meditate. That's my time to do that. It's easy and it works together, and it's a great way to start the day.
So I love that habit stacking
Mhm.
and take something that you already enjoy and add something, another element to it.
Right on.
So, for example, someone we both know, David George Brooke, that gratitude guy, every day he takes a long walk and he records his gratitude messages. And he has tons of them up on YouTube, like over 1,800 of them. And by the way, those of you who are watching, I did a fantastic interview with David George Brooke some time ago. You'll find it on my YouTube channel, Dr. Barnsley Brown. Go subscribe so you don't miss the bold, badass business owners. And would you please share this episode? I forgot to say that. Share this episode because my folks come and give their time and share their expertise. And it just means so much. And my vision is always that this is going to reach you at exactly the time that you need this information. And you're going to suddenly have an aha. Oh my gosh, habit stacking. I can do this. I already do my yoga in the morning. You know what? I could add to that an element of gratitude, for example. Think about that. And I would also say be careful about negative habit stacking because there's
Mhm.
something about negative habits, right? We get into one and it's very easy to take up another. And suddenly, we find ourselves in a different place, right? So, for example, we might let ourselves sleep in, a little bit after vacation because in vacation it's okay, right? But then when we get back, and I'm speaking for myself, and I think you've also encountered this, Regina, when we get back, it's like,
Yeah.
well, that was vacation time. Now it's time to hit the road. But if we're and hit the ground running, but if we're
Mhm.
tired, that's different. I think it's okay to plan those moments to sleep in and rest and get revitalized, because there again, if you're in a tired state, if you
Yes.
are being tired, if you are
Mhm.
being depleted, if you are being that, guess what's going to show up in your business?
Exactly. And that, you know what, I'm going to put that as a second strategy. I want
Yep.
everybody watching, listening to listen to your body, because I remind people the body never lies.
Yeah.
Our bodies are the number one truth tellers in our life, like more truthful than the person we love the most. Our bodies are going to tell us, and we need to listen. So often, how many times have you gotten up, maybe you had a headache or a pain, and what do? We medicate and we get going on our day. Or we say, "Oh, I'll see the doctor later," and we never make that appointment.
Mm,
We've got to start listening to our bodies, because honestly, they're with us all the time, and they're only here to make sure that we get through this life. How are we going to do the work without our health? So I'm putting that as
exactly.
Second.
I love it. And I love your big board there. That is fabulous. That is so good. So
Thank you.
speak gratitude, use habit stacking, listen to your body. There are different ways we can listen to our bodies. One thing I recommend to people is that when you're having an issue in a certain area of your body, that you actually journal for
Mm,
20 minutes and let that part of your body speak to you. What is it trying to say? And do that for like 2 or 3 days until you feel like you've gotten to the bottom of it. And
mm,
so often when I've done this, Regina, whatever the issue was, whether it was back pain or some bloating or whatever, it was greatly reduced, if not altogether gone
wow.
by the
Just
end of those 3 or 4
through
days.
journaling, huh?
Yes, but it's journaling, letting your body be the one speaking. So you know how you would journal and you'd say, "I had a great day," but this time you're asking your body, and then you're using first person. Yeah, I'm your gut, and here's what I'm trying to tell you. It's the first person of your body, and
Mhm.
and that's a very different experience than you
Yeah,
writing about what you think is going on in your body.
that is true. Love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Man, we gotta do some seminars together, Regina.
I
I
think
have to
so.
tell you all, Regina is one of my clients in Make It Happen Mastermind. I just love having her in there because she is totally full of
Mhm.
ideas and has such a heart for people. So it's just, and you have just soared in there, man. You have like taken off. Hey, what has it been? Is it your third month, your fourth month?
Third.
Remember? Man, you have rocked it and rolled it. I mean, she has got things going on. She's got a full program right now. She's got her freemium that she offers. We're going to give you something free at the end. She's got new speaking engagements coming in. She continues to do her wonderful podcast. Tell them about your podcast.
Mm. I started my podcast, Here I Am, and I spell here HEAR. And I woke up one morning, it was right when the pandemic started. And I woke up with those words on my head. Here I am. And I thought, here I am. I was thinking like, God, are you talking to me? And I thought that's one of my favorite songs, here I
Yeah.
am, Lord. And I was playing around with it and almost like a stamp on my forehead, I saw the word HEAR. And this is part of the work is this I am. We even talk about that in the mastermind about
Mhm.
being very intentional, not I want to, not I will, but I am. And
Mhm.
what it started out is these are words I needed to hear. And when I was growing up, I never heard things like you're smart
Mm.
or I believe in you or I'm proud of you. And so the podcast is 4 minutes or less, every single one of them. There are about 134 episodes to choose from now,
Awesome.
and thank you. And they're stories that have a message and 3 or 4 little words that could make a huge difference in the way you feel and think about yourself.
Yeah, I love the one that you did about your mother passing away recently and about all of that experience. And I love the one you did on catching up, and how we try to catch up. And this is absolutely impossible. Where can they find your podcast? Here I am. Where can they
It's
find it?
anywhere you listen to podcasts. So,
Mhm.
I use the Spotify for podcasters to record it. So it's always on Spotify. It's on Apple Podcasts and some of the other ones. So it's and I have it in my newsletter. So if people want to subscribe to my newsletter, I would love to. We'll put the link in the show notes. How about that?
Anywhere podcasts are. And I'm putting this right here into the comments. So you'll have
Terrific.
the name of the podcast too. I like to stick these things up here. And of course, you're putting the points that we're talking about, speaking gratitude and listening to your body. I think that is so very important. We don't get stuff done for a lot of reasons. We're not intentional, for example. We're not intentional. What would you say is one of the biggest blocks that people have aside from, they really don't know what to do? They're not in contact or in they're not clear about what they really care about, first of all.
Mhm.
And so they feel scattered and are going in a million different directions. But what would you say are some of the other obstacles that are in there that are things like fear or, maybe I won't be good enough? I don't know.
Well, I tell people I help them with their weight problem. Their weight problem. This is the biggest thing. People are waiting and they wait. They think I'm going to wait until my kids are out of the house, or I'm going to wait until I have everything exactly the way I want it. I'm going to wait until I lose 10 pounds. I'm going to wait until the divorce is final. Everybody's waiting because there's
Mhm.
some idea that there's going to be a perfect time. I'm telling you, life is going to keep coming at us no matter what. No matter what. There is no such thing as a perfect time. And I think once people realize and take a step, it's like take the next step. It doesn't have to be a huge one. You don't have to have everything
Mhm.
lined up. Just do the next thing, one thing. They'll find that it gets easier and easier, whether it's being live. Oh my gosh, that's so scary. What if my hair is out of whack? What if my lights go out? What if my marker stops working? In fact, look at that. There's probably a few that are out back there right now. It Get on the screen, talk to people, write the thing, get your writing out.
Get over your freaking perfectionism.
Right. Right. I mean,
Seriously,
yes.
like give it up.
No, there's no right. And a lot of people are waiting because they're concerned about what other people are going. I want to wait because I don't know how they're going to feel about that, or what my parents are going to say, or what my spouse is going to say, or what my colleagues are going to say.
Yeah.
One of the things that I bring up, and I actually printed this off before our session today, is the book, The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying.
Right. I love that book. I was just looking at it last night on my bookshelf. I was like, that was a good book.
And the number one, the most the most common regret is I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself
Mm.
instead of the life that other people expected me to live. And and when we get to a certain point in our lives, I think we wake up a little bit and we realize we've got more life behind us than we do in front of
One of
us.
us.
And it's time to do something.
I love that you help people with their weight problem. And that is the thing that I hear folks who don't enroll in the Make It Happen Mastermind, even though, for example, they know, yeah, I want to be at six figures and more really fast with fun. And I have this thing on my heart to do in the world that's going to serve people. But then it comes to the moment of taking action. Well, I don't have all the money. I don't have the this. Well,
Right.
look, it's a lack of commitment that you don't have. The waiting, the idea that there's going to be a perfect time, that's a big excuse. That's all that is,
Yeah,
right?
and I have been in so many people's shoes. I've been in a lot of shoes. A lot of them I didn't like. Um, we got to outgrow these shoes that we're stuck in, truly, where we think we're safe, or we think that, I think when you and I were talking, I said, I'm afraid I'm going to screw up. What if I fail at this and I lose this money, or I don't do well in my business?
Mhm.
But I'll tell you, once you commit, I mean, and you figure it out. Once you commit, you start showing up in a new way. And there's new vocabulary, new behaviors, and new energy that you're surrounded with when you do
Yeah,
things like this that up level you. I mean,
exactly.
immediately we vibrate higher. And so new opportunities come and we can't even believe it's happening. Truly. And you know what I found was so amazing? It happened in a blink.
Yeah.
One suggestion, in one moment, shared with one other person, and boom.
Yeah. And you in your first, I mean, I don't want us to keep talking about the program, but I want to say
No.
something about you is that in those first, what was it? 18 days or 21 days.
Mhm.
The first 18 or 21 days, which was it? 18,
It it
21.
was it was fewer. It wasn't
It was
even
less
it
than
was
that.
right, it wasn't
You
even 3 weeks.
totally tripled what you had made in 6 months
Right,
in the space of those 2 little over 2 weeks.
right,
And that is the kind of results that I get with people, just because the people I work with are like you, are totally motivated, and have some fears and so forth, that need the structure that we have, as we all do,
right.
and but really have something they want to create and are clear about that. And we create the messaging, we create the strategies, the marketing, all of that that you need, the networking, we create all that. But we have a lot of fun as we do it, don't we? We have a lot of fun and we
We
get
do.
so close. And
Yeah,
then it's like, today when I had a guest who wasn't showing up, I'd already been thinking, I want to have Regina on the show. I should have Regina on the show, and the show's booked through December. Well, guess what? Guest
mhm,
canceled. I have immediately sent a text to Regina. Come on, you got to come on the show. So
and
you all, that's what's created when you get in a group. And I'll
right,
tell you, Regina has an awesome program too. We're going to talk about that, that has a different purpose than the Make It Happen Mastermind. But you see, when you get someone like us, we are not going to let you fall through the cracks.
no,
We keep our programs small and intimate so that you have access to us all the time. And you're not looking at you're not one of 900 people on a Zoom screen with us. I can't stand that, right? There's a purpose in that too. Like, I'm going to go to the Tony Robbins Unstoppable Woman thing. I'm going to go to
yeah,
that, but I'm
right,
not going to expect to have any time with Tony Robbins,
no,
and time with Tony Robbins every day. No way. But you can have Regina every day. Maybe not every day, but most days. And you can have me 7 days a week by text, and get this shit done. Because
mhm,
here's the thing, there's something that you've been put here to do on the planet. This is the thing. I think there's nothing sadder than going to the end of your life and saying, I really wanted to start that orphanage for girls, or I really want to, in Uganda, I'm thinking about a project that Grand Connections is doing, for instance, or I want to support that, or I really want to start a tutoring business, or I really
mm,
want to have a business. Recently, someone who had experienced abuse was telling me, I really want to help other people, women who have been abused by their spouses, or men, because it does happen to men too. I
yeah,
want to help them. I want to show them the way to get through this and keep their sanity and get their power back. And see, I'm getting chills just talking about her right now. And she knows, she's seeing me. I told her, I'm not giving up on you, right?
mhm,
You all think about it. When you want something, what do? Really? You find a way to get it, don't you? When you really want something, like you want to go out to eat, you'll find the money to go, right? Or you want to go on a trip, you'll find a way to do it, right? And so why would you not do that very thing that is your purpose on the planet anyway? What do you think, Regina?
well, and I think it's about investing in ourselves. And again, this goes back to waiting. I mean,
Yep.
we can wait, and I'm a parent. Of course, I want to invest in my kids, in my family members. I
Yep.
love to invest in the people I love. And what happens when you invest in yourself, no matter what it's for, whether it's a get a massage, or you sign up for a program where you learn something new, you it begins to feel like, wow, you begin to see the results immediately of what it means to invest in yourself and how it fills you up. And then you start to think, I wonder what I can do now to help somebody else feel as good as I feel.
Mm.
And when you and start out small, invest $50 in yourself, buy an
Yeah,
online course from Udemy or something,
exactly. Yeah.
and learn something. And then what you'll find is, okay, I'll invest $47, and now I'm going to invest $400. And what might it feel to invest $4,000 in yourself? And when you get going on this and get with people who are doing it all the time, then, like me, I'm benefiting from you, who you've probably invested tens of thousands of dollars in your
Yes.
education.
Yes.
Yeah, and I get the benefit of
Right.
your learning. And then I'm passing that on, because really the question we ought to be asking ourselves when we think about doing something, being something, is who is losing out if I
Mm.
sit still? Who loses out if I just keep all this to myself and not help anybody?
Oh my God, that's a gem. I'm just getting like all the hair on the back of my head is just going. I'm getting some spirit chills here. So this is a gem. Ask yourself, who is losing out on me not, and you fill in
Taking
the
action.
blank.
Yeah.
And that could be me not finishing my book. Who is losing out on me not starting that dream business? Who is losing out on me not investing in my professional development? Yeah, I think one of my biggest years, I invested over 40,000, and it was one of the greatest years in my business. So it's just, but I didn't start that way. Like you say, I started out where $17 was a lot, right?
Right.
And then it was 27, and then it was 297, and then it was 497, and then it was 4,097, and it went on, you know. But we build up to it. But the thing is, one of the reasons we don't do stuff is because we don't value ourselves as much as we value others. So, like you say, we invest in others, but then when it comes to ourselves, we give ourselves the short shrift.
Right. And money is a tool, and we can use it to hone in on our skills, or we can use it for other purposes. But if we're using it to help others for the feedback, for the love, for the appreciation from other people, we have to ask ourselves, is that really benefiting us?
We got to use it for service.
Right.
That's why we're here. Truthfully, service. I always think about servant leaders and that idea that got popularized like in the 1990s. The idea of the servant leader, and the best leaders that I can think of were largely servant leaders. They were people like Mother Teresa. They were Nelson Mandela. They were Martin Luther King Jr., etc. They were servant leaders. But here's the thing: when we are servant leaders, we're serving, but we're also being served at the same time. And it's a reciprocal thing. We're filled up as we serve. And so, there's this interesting thing where you were talking earlier about, being filled up. So there's this part where we need to be filled up in order to give. And then as we give, we get filled up even more. But we've got to have both sides of that going. It can't be all give, give, give.
Ask yourself, would you rather be filled up as a result of doing the work, of no longer waiting, of going out and being something in the world? Or would you rather be filled up with a bunch of junk that is just overwhelming you? Because we can choose. We can be filled up with all the information and shake our heads and throw our hands up, or we can be mindful about and gatekeepers of our brains. What are we letting in? What are we choosing to fill ourselves up with? And I'll tell you, when we fill the stuff, when we fill up with the things that we value, it feels so much different. It feels so much better, healthier, easier.
And peaceful. It feels way more peaceful than when we're filling ourselves up. It's like, junk food versus vegetables and good proteins. Whether you choose for those to be plant-based or hormone-free animal protein, whatever you choose, but it's the same kind of thing. If we eat Cheetos all day, and Cheetos in our minds would be, just watching TV and not taking action, and,
and
being in fear, anxiety instead of taking action, or worry instead of taking action.
Well, and that reminds me of when we talked about habit stacking and how we can stack negatively. There's a great piece on emotional hygiene, a TED Talk by Guy Wench, I think is his last name. But if you Google emotional hygiene TED Talk, it'll come up. But he talks about how when we have a physical injury, if we cut ourselves, immediately, what are we going to do? We're going to find something to heal it. We're going to put antibiotic cream and a Band-Aid, and we're going to maybe not use that hand. We're going to protect it because we want that injury to heal. And yet, when we have emotional injuries, when we have hurts, when we're feeling badly, we just keep on bringing it on. We think about sad things. We might listen to sad music. We might like start putting junk food in our body, eating ice cream and chips. And don't get me wrong, that tastes good.
And
But we're
sometimes you can have a little bit of that, but
exactly. But when we are feeling bad, we are so it would be like going to that cut and finding something to make it deeper, bleed more. Like we would never do that. And
yeah.
so the emotional hygiene, we've got to do a check. Like, how are you? How are you feeling? And are you getting the support you need? And recognizing, because I talk a lot of people, like, I want to wait until I feel better. I'm
Mm.
not gonna go to the doctor or get medication because I believe in whatever it is. But if we recognize that everything is temporary, and feeling badly can be a temporary situation, we just need to get the help and support until we're feeling better again. And then, I mean, those steps, I often talk about doing it. I have an ebook called Make a Splash, and
Mhm.
it's all based on taking action and the size of your action.
Mm.
So like when we were talking about, even feeling anxious,
Yep.
and I tell people, you want to take a pebble size action, just recognize when it happens. Recognizing it is a small step. It's the next step. It's doing something. And then maybe a stone size would be, I'm going to write about it. Like we mentioned, let's journal when we're feeling some anxiety and see if we can get to the root of it. And then maybe a bolder size, a bigger size rock, that kind of a splash on your life would be get support, talk to a trusted friend, see about getting a therapist or
Mhm.
working with a coach. That's a big action because when we have to, it means asking for help.
Yes.
But all those things are always available to us. I know I want to give people permission to do anything it takes to get you to live the life that you truly are meant to live.
I love that. To do anything it takes. And you just made me think about this seminar I did. It was so good. It was a warrior seminar. And I bent the steel rod from my neck right here to the neck of one of the guys on my team. And we had to not use our hands and we had to push in. Now I chose him. I will admit, Regina, I have the steel rod. These are things, I mean, you cannot move this thing. And I was really scared. This is very scary. I chose the person on there. He was a very small guy, but he did karate, and I thought, he's got some stuff going on. If he did karate, he's gonna be very strong in his mind and his body.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna believe. And he's a teacher. He's gonna believe in me, which he did. And everybody was around cheering. I was thinking, oh my God. And there were people who got hurt, by the way, in the big group. There were a couple of people who got pretty hurt. We bent our thing all the way like this. I mean, it was like that. And I put it over my shoulder. Um,
Hmm.
but that kind of stuff that I did it definitely tested me and moved me beyond some physical
Yeah.
limitations, some
Yeah.
ideas that I had about what I was capable of physically and
Right.
mentally, emotionally, because all of that was involved in that exercise. So
Right.
whatever it takes, I love that question. But to be really courageous and to take those opportunities and say yes, we need support. And that's why, I think I totally believe in programs. That's why I have a bunch of coaches. You've heard me talk about my different coaches. And
Mhm.
I would never, ever be a coach without having my own coaches who are my board of directors and will tell me when I'm making mistakes,
Mhm.
or when I can tweak things and make them better, when I'm off. So support is necessary. This is not something to do alone, you all. It's very hard to create courage when we feel alone.
Yeah, and I also think that often as women, we wait to get to do things that bring us joy. Like you and I talk about
Mhm.
what's your bliss? What is it that brings you joy? And this evening, I'm going to go out with my two best friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember the last time that we went out together. And I'm sad about that because I know when we're together, oh, we have such fun. And
Mm-hmm.
it fills us up so much. And yet I will wait to do that because of other commitments or prioritizing. We all have 24 hours in a day. But
Mm-hmm.
we have to start thinking about when we're ready to level up. I don't care in what area of your life you're talking, whether you're going to learn something or you're going to go to a personal trainer and work on your body, or you're going to get some spiritual support and evolve a little bit, whatever that looks like. We have to have fun as a part of it because it's going to add flow to what it is that we're doing. We've
It's
got
going to
to have,
energize us, and
yeah.
we've got to have fun. And I went to this seminar and I heard this person talk, and I'm not going to say much. I don't know names or anything. And that person has an amazing book and so forth. And somebody said, well, really, what's been out of balance in your life? And they said, I really haven't been having any fun. I've been working 18-hour days, et cetera, et cetera. And I just, at that moment, it was such an awakening for me. I said, there's no way I would do that, ever. Now I might one day if I had something I had to get taken care of, but no, I just wouldn't. And so we've got to ask ourselves that question: am I living to work, or am I working to live? Where does work fit in? And for
Right.
me, my business energizes me. I totally get energized by doing the Bold Badass Business Owner Show, by coaching you all in the mastermind, by doing individual coaching with you all, as well as the group coaching, by going to stuff that y'all do and doing my own speaking things. I totally get energized by those things. So it's important to ask yourself, is something giving me energy, or is it taking energy away from me?
Exactly. And I think that goes back to listening to your body. Your body will tell you if you are in a job that you despise, and we've all had those jobs.
Yes.
I remember having a job for a short time, and it was a desperate job. I needed the money and had a new baby
Yeah.
and all of that. But my kids said, Mom, are you going to the pod today? POD. I said, what is the pod? They said, your pit of despair. They knew. They knew.
That's so funny.
I know. So it was they even programmed it in my
Yes.
GPS. So when I arrived at this place, it said the pod.
Pit of despair.
And that also look to the people who love you the most, who are with
Mm-hmm.
you. It might be a best friend, it might be a partner, it might be your spouse, but say, what is it? How am I? What is my affect when I go to my job or when I'm with these people? We have to start recognizing the toxicity in our lives because it can really put blinders on us and make us think that waiting is comfortable. Like, I just have to do this right now because I have no other choice. And I will always call BS on that immediately. When people say I don't have a choice, I have to wait until, no, that's untrue. Untrue. So, looking at the untruths in your life, what stories are you telling yourself? Because we can make up great stories about why we're not doing something.
So something I'm hearing is that sometimes we're not doing something because we really don't want to do it.
That's true.
And in business, I can say there's certain things that I don't do enough, like send out my email newsletter. And I'm really aware of that. And there's a reason for that, because I guess I don't enjoy it, or it's just not a priority. So
Right.
there's a way that some of the things we're not doing because maybe we're not good at them, we don't enjoy them, whatever, and we can hire them out, certainly.
There you go.
Or maybe it's that we're doing something that really, and this is not my email newsletter, but that is toxic to us, and we need to stop. Or we're being around someone who's toxic.
Right. And how do you know? Well, you can ask somebody close with you, especially if you're going to a place with a friend. Say, I want you to call me out, or notice what I'm doing, because you may not even notice you're doing it. But if you're doing behaviors like you might chew on your nails or twist your
Mhm.
hair or do this. I
Yeah.
always watch when people are moving or fidgeting or something. Your body is telling you something. You are having anxious energy when you are in that space. Maybe you shut down. Maybe you completely withdraw into
Mm.
yourself and get real quiet. Do you ever do that when you're in an argument with somebody, or when you're having with your boss or something, and you
Yeah.
just make yourself real small? These are all signs that something is amiss.
Mhm.
Something has to change, because you are physically, it's very clear what's happening. And
Well,
we all
you
know, like,
mm,
being anxious or feeling sick to our stomach or headaches, or I'm telling you, the signs are everywhere. What are you
I
paying
love that.
attention to? Yeah.
Yeah. So look at the signs in your body and, you know, look at the signs of restless, fidgety energy, or just look even at how difficult it is for you to get out of the bed in the morning, et cetera, to look at some of the truths. And, I shared with the mastermind, and you'll remember this, that last week I really reached a point of exhaustion, having done this clean out on a evicted tenant. And I'd never had to evict somebody, but it was really emotional and really hard. And it brought up a lot of stuff about my brother when he passed. And as soon as I made that connection, then I could begin to delve. But for a while, I was just like weepy and just, I could not lift a finger. I was like, I cannot take the trash out. It's
There,
okay where it is.
right,
I
right.
can't do anything. It's like my body shut down,
Hmm.
and there was no way. And one day you heard me say I stayed in pajamas all day. I was like, I could get dressed. No, I don't want to. But the thing is, you all, that when I realized what was there, I could begin to process, and I immediately started going to my, there are 12 steps for everything. The one I chose was ACA, Adult Children of Alcoholics, and I like to talk about this stuff, y'all. I don't have any problem talking about it. So I started doing back-to-back meetings of that. Seriously, I think one day I did 3 meetings back to back, just on
Wow.
the telephone. Yeah, I just needed to hear. And I did share, and 1 or 2 times, but I needed to listen. And I did a little reading in my big red book for that. And then I just sat for a while and I played with my animals, and made some food, and then went to bed. I mean, but my body and my mind and my spirit were just worn out. And so I want to say to you all who are watching, maybe you're noticing your energy levels not there, and maybe you haven't identified that you're working at a pit of despair, as you put it, Regina. That's
Yeah.
hilarious. Your kids really, I mean, they did it on that one. Or
Yeah.
maybe you're working with a client who is, as we say, a pitta, pain in the ass client. You're working with a pitta, and that puts you in a POD, pot of despair. Maybe you have somebody around you in your household who's draining your energy, or not in your household, but they're still draining your energy. So it's up to us at these moments to realize, oh, there are reasons I'm not getting stuff done.
Yeah.
And part of that may be that your bandwidth is completely consumed with that shit.
Yeah. And most times, I can't think of a time when I have decided to say yes to something and I've had to let go of something else. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why I wrote grief, because
Yeah.
we have to recognize that changing, growing, saying yes to things,
Mm-hmm.
that we have to let go of maybe old behaviors, old stories, old people. As
Old
by
stuff.
old, I mean, they're no longer helping us. We've
Yeah.
all heard that there's a person for a reason, a season, or it's true.
Yeah.
And we've got to, when I have clients who come to me and say, I've decided to get a divorce, you know what I say to them? Congratulations. It's wonderful. You're making a decision for your life. And they're always surprised that I congratulate them. But I'm telling you, anytime we make a decision for ourselves, especially women, magic happens.
Yeah.
We become more powerful. And it's all about working through the grief letting go and accepting this new way of being in the world.
Mhm.
And I'm telling you, it will always be better than what you've left behind. It will always be
Mm.
better.
I love that. It will always be better. And what I heard you say that I think is such a gem, and I just want to repeat it for everybody, is that when we, especially women, make
Mhm.
a decision for ourselves, it's going to empower us.
Yeah.
It's going to change our life in a powerful, positive way. You know, we really can't, in a sense, we can't make a bad decision, you all. We really can't, because we can always make a different decision. We make a decision and it doesn't work out. We can make a different decision, you know, unless you're making a decision like taking your own life. And let's hope you're not doing that. And if you ever are thinking about that, please give one of us a call. But, you know, we really, there's nothing, almost nothing that's irreversible in terms of our decisions around our business. And the other thing is, like, what I hear you saying, but not with these words, but this is what I'm hearing, is non-attachment too. So we make a decision to change, and then there's this element of non-attachment, because a lot of times we get bogged down when we begin to start doing the shit, like begin to start getting stuff done. Then we can, and I've heard people in my mastermind say this, oh my God, why didn't I do this so much earlier? And they start shaming themselves. Why didn't I do all this? I could have done so much more with my life. Why didn't I get the support I needed earlier? And I just want to say to you, you know, it's okay.
You weren't
to
ready.
You
You weren't
weren't
ready.
ready. But the question is what you said, Regina, earlier, so powerful. Do you have the support in place for what you want to create? Do
Right.
you have the support in place for what you want to create? That is such a good question. I actually really want to put that up here. Um, do you have in place the support you need for what you want to create? And that is such a powerful question. I actually remember asking you my version of that when we talked about you joining the mastermind. Do you have the support? Do you have the structure in place to take your business to another level?
Right.
You've already been successful. Now, do you have that support in place? And your answer was no. And it was powerful, because that moment you would just realize, no, I don't, and I need it. And I know for myself, the same kind of thing with one of the major programs I'm in. It was like, no, I don't have the support in place. I really don't. And I don't have consistency. And do you know, as soon as I started that program, Regina, I had the biggest month I'd ever had in my life. It was huge.
Whatever we
You know,
focus on grows. You know, what we
huge.
focus on grows. And so
Yeah.
if we're focusing on what we don't have, or we're focusing on
Yes.
trying to do everything by ourselves, which many of us do,
Yes.
then we're going to keep perpetuating that. I got it. I can do it on my own. Well, you can until you can't. And it's the same, you know, when we're going to have a procedure done.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're not gonna operate on ourselves. We're not gonna fix anything that's broken inside our bodies. We need the
Yeah.
doctors, the nurses, the
I'll
insurance.
do brain surgery on myself.
We
Woo.
need the support. I mean, that's exaggerated, but the point is, many of us try to do things on our own all the time. It's how we were
Yeah.
raised, you know, it's the stories that we've always
Yeah.
known. And I would encourage people to look up the story of Ho'oponopono. I
Oh,
teach
yes.
this with
I
my
love that
to my
prayer.
clients.
Oh, yes.
And you know, it's a way to break those patterns of the ancestral stories and behaviors. We don't always have to do things the same way that they did 100 years ago. It's no longer serving us.
It doesn't work.
Right. Right. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So
Just
let's
try to ride a horse down the highway. You'll see that.
right.
Doesn't work.
And you know what? It's important too. It's important to me that my children see me getting the help that I need. It's
Mm.
important that they see me asking for help and saying, "No, I'm not able to do that because I'm going to work on my business. So you figure it out. Get your own ride somewhere." You know, setting boundaries, asking for help, all the things we have to do in business that are these life lessons. And I'm passing that along to my kids. They've
Yeah.
watched as I've done this, you know, and built this business. It's important to include them.
And you're modeling that. You're
Mhm.
absolutely modeling that. So I would say to everybody again, that question that you asked Regina earlier is so powerful. Ask yourself, who is losing out on me not taking action on my dream? Whatever that dream may be, a business, whatever, better health, going on a big trip around the world, whatever it is that you desire, getting married, finding your soulmate, and
Yeah, and
solidifying
what
that.
if it's your kids?
Yes.
Would you wanna answer that question? My kids are the ones losing out. No. No
And
mother would
not
ever
just
want.
our kids, Regina, it's everybody around us, because this is what I like to say to everybody. Folks are modeling their behavior on you, whether you like it or not. They're
Oh, right.
modeling their behavior on you. The people
Yeah.
around you are watching you. They see what you do, especially the younger people, and they are doing it or not based on you. I don't care who you are. I don't care what kind of job you have. Guess what? People are modeling their behavior on you. So we have a responsibility, as I see it, Regina, to kick ass and to get shit done on our dreams and what our highest values are.
Yeah. Without worry about what other people are thinking or
Hmm.
what's important to other people, because I say this all the time. You would not worry what people thought about you if you knew how little they thought about you.
Say that again.
I
That's
know,
just, that's just, say it
tattoo that
again.
one on you.
Take two on that.
You would not worry what other people thought about you if
Mm.
you knew how little they thought about you. I mean,
Wow.
we are selfish people. We
Mm.
are, and we might pay attention for 30 seconds to somebody, but then it's gone.
Mm.
And so we've got to let things go and keep moving forward. I'm all about that forward motion. And, that's what I'm called, queen of action. Take action on your life. And if you don't know how to do that, people can go to queenofaction.com. Can you
Hmm.
believe I got that URL?
I love it.
Queenofaction.com, and get on my calendar for 15 minutes. If there's anything that resonated today, anything that you're curious about with our notes and our words up here, then get on the schedule and spend 15 minutes with me.
I love it. So there's your first giveaway, y'all, is go to queenofaction.com. I just put it up there, but you can
Thanks.
also see it if you can't see the comments, queenofaction.com, y'all. And get on Regina's calendar for 15 minutes, which will be 15 minutes that is valued at several $100s. You need to get your butt there. I mean, really, it's priceless to get you in motion. And the other thing is, those of you who really want your six-figure business or more, multiple six figures fast with fun, feel free to reach out to me for a Get Results Now complimentary session. But I'm going to have you do an assignment before we have the session. You have to do the assignment. I have a couple of people right now who haven't done the assignment. They don't get to schedule till they've done the assignment. The assignment isn't that long, y'all. It takes 11 minutes. Come on.
No, but that's a great example of slowing down in order to speed up. If we
Yes.
can't answer these simple questions, they're deep, but they're simple. And you
Right.
have to spend a minute and ask yourself, wow, what am I? You spend time with yourself. It's so important. This is an investment. And what are you investing? You're investing time.
To be here with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
And
we're investing time because we love what we do, but we're investing time in you all watching because we don't want you to have that weight problem that Regina talked about, WAIT, anymore. You
that's right.
know? So, Regina, this has been absolutely phenomenal. I'm so, I mean, I don't, should I say this? I'm so glad that other person canceled. No, I'll be able to do that one later, and I will absolutely
Mhm.
pre-record. Let me just say, y'all, don't cancel like that last minute,
Well,
especially after.
it was a happy yes. It was a happy
But
yes.
it was meant to be, right?
Mhm.
And that's the thing. When this happened, for a moment, I got my panties in a wad, and then I realized, well, this is perfect timing, isn't it? It's perfect timing. So again, non-attachment, when we can detach from what's going on and not shame or blame ourselves or others, and
Mhm.
be in a neutral place, then we can find a different possibility for how we could have something get done, you know? And that's something like, when something isn't getting done in our business, it's time to stop and ask, why isn't this getting done? Do I really not like to do it? Do I not have the expertise? Uh, and if I don't, then who could help me?
That's right. Maybe it's time to find a who. Who, Not How, right? That's another great book.
Find a who,
Right? Your
not
who.
how.
Mhm.
So Regina, I'm so happy you've been here. Y'all go grab her 15 minutes on her calendar. And where can they get your ebook? The one you talked about, the splash
Oh, you know
ebook.
what? If they can go to my website, which is reginacarey.net. And I roll my eyes because you know what, folks? I've been waiting to make changes to my website, but you can get my book there. But I will tell you this, if you schedule with me for the 15 minutes, I'll give it to you. So that's the easiest way to get it. Schedule with me.
Okay, well, let's just say that you can get that book Splash by scheduling with Regina. And you want to, invest 15 minutes in yourself. I
Oh
mean,
my
you
gosh.
have nothing to lose. It could be the difference in you waiting and waiting and waiting until guess what? You're underground or you're in a vase somewhere with a lid on it.
And we're
And it's
all
too late.
aging. We're all aging. So
Well,
I don't want people to have these regrets, these 5
yes,
regrets of the dying. Come
yes.
on.
Yeah,
Live
just
this life.
just reach out and get the support you need. Ask yourself, do I have the support I need in my life? And if you don't, get the support. This is always so powerful. We cannot go it alone. So
Right.
everybody, Bold Badass Business Owners is every Friday live at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. And I want to ask you to share this. I've seen you all hopping on and off, and I want you to share it with somebody you know who has a WAIT problem, someone who is not taking action on their dream, someone who's in a pit of despair in
Yes.
their
Come
work
on.
or their
Let's
business.
bring a little joy back
Let's
to
bring
life.
some joy. I love that. Let's bring the joy. I'm looking for what I have that's joyful. I have this fun little kiss thing here. Let's see if it'll make a noise for us. How do I turn it on? I've forgotten. It says different things, but I can't remember how I turn the thing on anyway. Oh, wait. Oh, maybe the battery's out, but it says all sorts of stuff.
I
We
bought
want,
one of those. Yes.
aren't they
Those
fun?
easy buttons. You can record great messages to yourself.
Oh, yeah. And then I have one here that's like a help button. So you all share this with others and please go to my YouTube channel, Dr. Barnsley Brown, and subscribe because that is the way I'll continue to be able to grow the Bold Badass Business Owner Show and keep providing you awesome content every Friday at 4:30. Please like and share this, and we will see you next week. And Regina, thank you for coming on.
Mwah. Loved it.
Woohoo! All right, y'all having a kick-ass weekend and go make a difference for yourself, invest in yourself before you invest in others. Like, give to yourself. How about it?